Has Mike Wolfe simply left American pickers for good? He claimed to be simply taking a sabbatical, but it appears that his startling choice has more behind it. Is it a covert scandal, money, or something even more sinister? We're investigating it today, and the results might permanently alter your perception of the program. Is money a factor in Mike Wolfe's desire to take a break from the show? He has about 40 years of experience as a professional picker. He travels all throughout the United States in search of unique antiques, which he refers to as rusty gold, to purchase. These goods are then offered for sale at Wolfe's two antique archaeology shops, one of which is in Nashville, Tennessee, and the other in LeClaire, Iowa. Other items related to his brand of antique archaeology are also available at these stores. The price of an item at his stores might range from $18 to $900, depending on what customers wish to purchase. Wolfe retailers have come under fire from several reviewers for what they consider to be exorbitant prices. They have asked why an antique cat food sign, for example, costs up to $900. According to other reviews, the store does have really unusual things. The options are limited. These reviewers also expressed dissatisfaction with the costs. Nevertheless, both of his establishments are thriving in spite of these grievances and critiques. One of them reportedly generated $903,000 in revenue annually as of 2023. The store has a low-risk credit score, according to Experian's company appraisal analysis, because it pays its debts on time. In addition to the money he makes from his businesses, Mike has made a lot of money from his show, American Pickers. Did you know that the program was on the verge of being canceled? Mike had been interested in picking since he was 4 years old, although he didn't even start out as one. Mike, the second of 3 children raised by their single mother, was born in Jolie, Illinois. Mike spent his childhood repairing and removing old bicycles from his neighbor's garbage as a way to pass the time. But Mike did something different. Instead of expanding on that to become a professional picker, he became a competitive cyclist after seeing a career in the sport. Mike was a bike enthusiast as well. He chose to convert his hobby into a business since he had a businessman's mindset. He started 2 bike stores, but Mike soon realized that something was lacking: the excitement and adventure that comes with selecting. He eventually came to the conclusion that he desired the daring life of a picker. He started picking and was becoming better at it. Every year he traveled around 60,000 miles across the nation in his cargo van in pursuit of unique antique goods, which brought him fulfillment. After a few years of doing this, he had an epiphany. From his choosing, Mike recognized a commercial potential that may result in more revenue and recognition. He was sure it would be a smash when he considered a program that focused on his penalties. Motivated, Mike started pitching his ideas to other studios, but all rejected him. Nevertheless, he persisted. He persisted in presenting his opinions. The History Channel accepted his proposal rather than rejecting it. The first episode of the show aired in 2010 when they saw its potential. That episode exceeded all expectations. In addition to having more than 3.1 million followers, it was the first episode with the highest ratings from 2007 to 2010, and it was only the start. Around 5.4 million people between the ages of 25 and 24 watched him, his reliable companion, the plump and bearded Frank Fritz, and his close friend Danielle Colby, in Mike's antique store, Antique Archaeology, every week at the end of the first season. Before Mike ever came up with the idea for the program, he had been good friends with Colby for 10 years. Her presence on the show was essential due to the chemistry among the 3 of them. Due to its large audience, this program was the highest-rated new non-fiction show on cable TV in 2010. Mike became the newest American TV celebrity, leaving behind the inconspicuous existence he had become accustomed to over the years. Mike was able to maintain a consistent $500,000 every season and around $25,000 per episode, because to the show's devoted viewership, that sum is substantial. Additionally, there are presently 389 episodes and 26 seasons. Mike has amassed a substantial fortune over the years, as you may guess. Mike used this money to invest in the stores we previously discussed. In addition, he established new businesses like restorations and purchased 13 homes, where he forges outdated lighting components and fixtures into unique, useful furniture for your house or place of business. Additionally, he authored publications such as Kid Pickers, published by Macmillan in 2013, and American Picker's Guide to Picking, released in 2011. Mike has made money from all of these, but regrettably, he lost almost $6 million of his fortune. How did this occur? Is this the cause of Mike's departure from the show? Money isn't everything to Mike. In addition, Mike founded Kid Pickers, an online community that allows children between the ages of 7 and 13 to contribute their own selections. Mike also often organizes charity events and advertises fundraising initiatives for the ASCPA, St. Jude's Children's Hospital, Operation Smile, and animal shelters. One individual believes Mike is a traitor, while many see him as a wonderful man who prioritizes others. Despite his charisma, McKay's relationships haven't always worked out. On September 7, 2012, he wed Jody, who gave birth to their daughter Charlie a year later. However, in June 2020, the pair split after 8 years of marriage. She filed for divorce in 2021, and Mike was forced to pay her more than $6 million as part of the settlement. Even though Mike is upset about this occurrence, it isn't the reason he is taking a vacation, and the tumultuous connection between him and his spouse won't be the last. Mike may be taking a vacation from the program because of his most recent major argument. Mike has performed on this show for almost 15 years total, or 26 seasons. He performed on the show until 2020, alongside co-host and co-star Frank Fritz. The two drove their Ford Transit or Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van across America. Their varied interests and energy kept the presentation interesting. Mike is a huge fan of vintage bicycles, penny farthings, air-cooled Volkswagens and motorbikes. Conversely, Fritz cherished vintage toys, oil cans, vintage Hondas and everything associated to peanuts. The two obtained the necessary antiques from garages, outbuildings, barns, sheds, and other locations where antiques and treasures have been kept. They pay visits to hoarders, collectors of all skill levels, and those who have inherited a sizable collection of objects and are unsure about what to do with it. Both of them had a strategy for making money off of what they discovered. Frank Fritz Finds, located in Savannah, Illinois, and his website both sold the items they found in Mike's business. The two's actions were successful. Even though Mike performed the actual heavy lifting, Frank recognized that he would always be the main star among them, since they were both endearing. Mike didn't think twice about bending down and carrying everything they discovered. Regretfully, the two will never again have that chemistry. Frank passed away on October 1, 2024. After having a stroke in July 2022, Frank spent some time in the hospital. At the time of Frank's stroke, Mike begged followers to pray for him, and that he was doing the same. Unfortunately, Frank passed away from what medical professionals characterized as the stroke's long-term consequences 2 years after it occurred. Mike wrote a heartfelt eulogy for Frank, in which he discussed the various experiences the two of them had shared. Mike commended Frank for being a sincere individual, whose persona on and off camera is identical. Mike went on to say that he would miss Frank, and that he was honored to have shared the stage with him. We'll discuss why not many fans think Mike's eulogy was sincere shortly. Mike did, however, announce that he would be taking a hiatus from the program 6 months following Frank's passing. What if he really did miss Frank? If this were true though, why would Mike choose Rob Wolfe, his own younger brother, to take Frank's place? In addition, why didn't Mike make the announcement when Frank passed away? Even though Frank's passing was tragic, his departure from the program was not due to his stroke. Frank suffered from excruciating back pain for months before undergoing surgery as a result of his frequent lifting. Frank had filmed a few episodes before to the operation, and he vanished from the show in March 2020 when his roles concluded. Mike's justification at the time was that Frank was recuperating from surgery. Fans started to worry where Frank was and when he would return to the program after he was gone for longer than they had expected. But it wasn't until Mike verified Frank's departure from the program in 2021 that they received a definitive response. Frank, however, had a different account of what happened. He shockingly said that he was forced out of the program rather than leaving it. Frank then disclosed that Mike was involved in his expulsion from the program, as if this information weren't startling enough. How did this occur? Why would Mike ensure that Frank was not called back by the network? Frank even claimed that he didn't speak to Mike for 2 years. Mike didn't even bother to check on him following his operation. Frank implied that Mike wasn't at ease with Frank's increasing prominence on the show, but he didn't elaborate. He claimed that even though Mike was the focus of the program, it appeared that Mike had a problem with him, and that Frank was vying for Mike's top status after he dropped weight. Is there anything more going on here, or might Mike genuinely be worried that Frank would overthrow him? Frank disclosed that there were significant conflicts on the program, and that everything wasn't as it looked. Mike swiftly stated that he is a private person about his friendship with Frank, and isn't interested in correcting the record, but he is praying for Frank's recovery. When he was questioned in 2021 whether what Frank had claimed was accurate, fans continued to believe that Mike had ejected Frank from the program, since his explanation failed to address the problem. However, it had little effect on the show's ratings. Even though the dynamic had changed, viewers continued to be devoted to the program. In order to discover new things, Mike now travels with Rob Danielle Colby and Jersey John Sale, a specialist in antiquities. When Mike was on his vacation, they occasionally even went on their own. A man who desired attention for himself would not tolerate such an attitude from someone. Fans still adored the show's premise, even if this new strategy was novel to them. They were interested in learning why Mike would be there as well as if he would be visiting an old or new location. It did become evident in 2023 though, that Mike missed having Frank on the program. Mike paid Frank a visit when he was recuperating from the stroke. Fans missed the chance to see Frank and Mike on screen forever when Frank's health prevented him from taking advantage of a new opportunity to return to the program. What is Mike's true motivation for wanting to take a break if it isn't due to Frank's passing? Is it possible that Mike wants to take some time to be ready, since he is getting married again? Mike moved on and made his connection with Letitia Klein public in August 2021, after he separated from his ex-wife Jody in 2020 and finally got divorced from her in 2021. Since then, the two have remained together, although their relationship is not exactly conventional. They don't share a residence. Letitia has disclosed that she also wanted her privacy, and the two of them are quite busy. At this time, the pair has no intentions to ever live together. They do, however, live 2 hours apart. Mike resides in Leaps Fork, Tennessee, and Letitia owns and operates Ace Coffee, a prosperous cafe in Cave City, Kentucky. The two are always together and engage in activities together, despite their distance from one another. In various regions of the nation, they have engaged in tourism-related activities. Even though Letitia hasn't appeared in American Pickers at all, they have collaborated on a Harley-Davidson commercial. Apparently, they don't actually do everything together. However, they do share one additional characteristic: they are not yet ready to get married. While on the red carpet at the opening of their new film, Day of Reckoning, the two of them responded forcefully to a question about if they were getting engaged before the end of the year. They say they like their long-distance relationship at the moment, and are currently enjoying themselves. Are they going to have a change of heart soon? Perhaps, but perhaps not. It will be fascinating to observe. Why is Mike taking a vacation from the program he has been on for the past 15 years, if it isn't due to marriage or an engagement? Mike's accomplishment with American Pickers has paved the way for more endeavors and achievement. History's Greatest Picks with Mike Wolfe, his soon-to-be new program, is one of those. The History Channel has currently approved this show for a season, which will follow Mike as he searches for fabled antiques, relics and treasures from the past and narrates their worth. Mike will serve as the audience's guide, assisting them in learning about unusual antiques, unique treasures, and the meaning and mysteries of elusive discoveries. In a sense, Mike will be living out history. This program is similar to American Pickers, except it's far more expansive. Mike could be going overseas. Although not much is known about the program yet, we do know that Mike is thrilled to be involved, and views it as a chance to try something different. Mike is taking a sabbatical from American Pickers for just this reason. Mike wants to try something different after more than 30 years of professional picking and 15 years on American Pickers. He was eager for this transition when he was requested to appear in the movie Day of Reckoning, which had Mike riding a motorbike, by director Sean Silva, a close friend who was aware of his passion for bikes. As the protagonist of American Pickers, Mike initially preferred to remain in his lane and avoid acting. Despite having very few speaking lines, he was nervous about whether he could do the part. One would assume that his years of being in front of the camera, his experience venturing into new areas, and his search for fresh selections would have prepared him. But Mike wasn't sure. But he made the decision to go on anyhow, and he was correct. Mike was excited to be able to act with Billy Zane, even if the character was different from what he was used to. Who Mike disclosed taught him acting techniques so he could do his role effectively. Do you believe Mike has the potential to be an amazing actor? Would he receive further speaking engagements? Mike is receptive to further prospects in Hollywood after falling in love with his pal Sean's exuberant enthusiasm. Mike is open to everything as long as it is novel, even if he isn't simply interested in Hollywood. It's only natural for Mike to crave a change of pace after playing American Pickers for so long. The issue is that after experimenting, Mike could decide he no longer wants to go back to the show he has developed over the years. How will his other co-stars be affected by this? Would they go on to other things, or would they carry on with the program without him? Although it's fantastic that Mike has discovered new interests, fans should brace themselves for the prospect that their favorite TV personality may be exploring whole new avenues. Mike may have selected his final thing.